at that moment, he is in your body. You know, go back to the pew and kneel down and pray and thank him for everything he's done for you, for your family, for your home. You know, he's with you at that point. It's easy sometimes, and I'm guilty of myself, but I've just received Jesus and I go and kneel down and I'm like, oh, isn't that a cute little baby? Oh, look there, there's Madison, or there. You know, it's just like you kind of get caught in a little bit. I try not to, and if you do, that's okay. But try to come back and realize he's right there with you. It's a perfect time to offer those prayers. Okay? And you'll see people, they'll receive and they'll jump out the door and head off to the Dairy Queen because, you know, the mass is not over at communion. And for that matter, you know, we're going to keep on going. We've got the prayer after communion, and when you walk out the door, Mass is not ended. The Mass is ended per se, but we are called to go forth. If you go to Mass and you walk out the door and you never do anything with it, oh, it's such a shame. You're to share what you've experienced with others, and you're to be part of Christ. So I encourage you, stay for the whole Mass. You know, bring Christ into the world to others. Someone has brought Christ into your life. That's why you as Rcia candidates are here now. And it's a great thing. Continue to do that. And as you join, continue to encourage others. Don't keep it all to yourself. I'm kind of selfish sometimes. If I find something really cool I'm going to do, I'm like, ooh, do I want to share that with Sonia for her group? And I'm like, yes, I need to share that, even though I've done all the work. So you've done all the work. You've come to Mass. You've participated. You've received Jesus. Don't keep him to yourself. Go share him. Go share him with others.
One of the names for it is liturgy, which literally means the work of the people, which by its very nature suggests we're supposed to do something. Not only while we're there, it means we actually respond, we actually participate, we actually sing. But once we leave there, we're supposed to do something. It's kind of like, you know, you sit down to the family meal, do that, and when we eat, it gives our bodies energy and strength so that we can do something, right? Except maybe Halloween, red rock on the couch. What I say, Halloween and Thanksgiving. But it's the same idea with, you know, having been nourished now in spirit, we're supposed to go out there and do the work of the kingdom. That's the whole idea. The whole idea. It isn't just about receiving. If it's only about receiving, then we've short-circuited the whole thing. It's about receiving in order to give. It's the whole idea.
Since you said Thanksgiving, that reminds me, we had a priest one time that said going to Mass and participating is like going to somebody's house for Thanksgiving or something, just standing back watching everybody else eat and have a good time and then walking out the door. He said you're not going to get anything out of it, you're not going to enjoy it near as much if you don't sit down and eat with them and participate with the meal and the conversation.
I like going to a ball game and sitting. Last minute 3-pointer. You know.
Not to say that with Father's homilies, no, we don't all stand and say, yes, great homily, Father.
No.
Not that participation.
I'm just talking about saying amen
Yes,
with your spirit, open the book, sing the thing, that's all, participate. We have a role. I just think sometimes we get in a habit, you know, maybe take things for granted, get in a habit of participating.
And even really in receiving Eucharist, at times you'll see people that'll come up, you know, and you're presenting Jesus to that person. It's like, it's the most exciting thing. If you all can ever be Eucharistic ministers, oh Lord have mercy, it's beautiful. You're sharing home with this person, you know, and someone will be like, well, amen. And I'm like, oh no, it's like, amen, I get it. It's like I want to just
Kind of want to go like this.
feel that,
See?
feel that, you know. And so I hope you always have that feeling that yes, I'm receiving him, and I have that emotion.
And there are certain options along the way too, you know, like that before the Gloria, there is the penitential act, as it's now called. You can recite that prayer, which is called the Confiteor, which Rima referred to. You just don't have to. I tend to do that during Lent, because it tends to emphasize, like confession of sin. Otherwise, you can simply do the Lord have mercy. There's other little sentences attached to it. There is also an option, and it's always an option, is to sprinkle, which I do during Easter season.
His favorite part of Mass.
You go down and sprinkle water on people. Those are always 3 options you have. So, just so you know, Father, how come you didn't do that? You know, well, I didn't pick that option this week, you know. So, and there's other places that there are a few options.
And don't be hung up spending your time looking to see where Father's at in the book and miss the whole prayer that he's trying to recite, especially when you're reading prayers and things like that. I think about that, especially when I was younger. I'd like throw it, and you'll see some of the people that have their little black books. What is the little black book? Is it called a missal? The red missal?
Well, the missal is actually the big book.
The big book. What's what? When they have a little one, what is that?
I think it's called a daily missal.
So daily missal, I think it's like a missal, but and you'll see it was like if we read maybe.
They gave those to us when we graduated 8th grade. Everybody got one. It was in English and Latin.
Okay. But
and it had a whole year in it, but it wasn't 3 years. It was
Yeah, you needed it for translation sake back then, I'm sure.
yeah, you had to have the Latin and the English because the Mass was still in Latin then.
Right.
And the Father was facing the other way. And he was saying in Latin, and he was over here trying to keep up in English, the translation. But almost all the churches around here, when you graduate to 8th grade, you got a missal.
So that's probably what they bring it, but I'll see people sometimes, and it's like we're not where they think we're going to be because maybe we've read the readings for the saint of the day as opposed to the daily Mass, and so they're flipping through. By the time they find the page, it's all over with, and I'm like, I think we've missed it. And I kept myself watching the pages instead of paying attention to what Father's saying because I've missed the whole thing. It's Mass. You guys have anything like things that we do that you're like, why did I do that I haven't really talked about, or things that you would have questions about at all? Anything else Father you would say about?
Oh, I guess I would just say there's so much good to say. I shouldn't say it all the time. If you really listen to fundamentally, if you listen to the Eucharistic prayer, the whole thing is being, and again, it's the priest voicing the prayer on behalf of everyone. It's not my prayer. And the prayer is addressed to God the Father. And it says it in the beginning, if you catch it. The whole thing is addressed to the Father. And fundamentally, we are asking, for the unity of the church and things like that along the way, and salvation. But we're also asking the Father to send the Spirit down on us and on these gifts, bread and wine. Change it to the body and blood or something. And that's fundamentally what that prayer is doing. She mentioned the Last Supper, which was a celebration of Passover, exactly what Jesus and his disciples were doing. In essence, that was the first Mass. It was taking the old covenant and transforming it into a new one, which it says, she said, we still repeat the word, it's a new covenant. And it's continued ever since.